Hey everybody, I am in such a great mood because today is my birthday celebration. We are going to talk today about getting older, taking up more space as we age, the difference between being 40 and 30, and even a little bit about celebrating yourself. If you've ever been a birthday recognition avoider, this episode is for you. I'm Kelsey Toney, and this is Space Not Taken, a time for us to learn from occasions where we gave up space we shouldn't have and help each other figure out how to take up more space in the world, especially the space that really was ours to begin with. So yes, 40 years old. It's a big milestone. I have always been the sort of person who is excited to age, and I've always been very accepting of aging, but it is surreal. I remember being a child and my dad having like a 40th birthday that was decorated with like tombstones and buzzards, and it was an over the hill theme party, and that is just not the vibe anymore. We are very aware of the fact that 40 is super young and youthful, and there is still so much life left to live. One of the things that the internet has talked about a lot in the last few months is about how different people who are 40 look now than they did on like TV shows in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And I think that's true. I don't know if it's just a mental illusion or if it's true that we look younger, but I feel like we do. I feel like that's true. Who knows? Maybe that's just your brain telling you that because you're now 40 years old and you have to live with it. So I have been a person on the internet making content for a very long time. And when I was about 27, 8, 9, 30 years old, I was deep in the first iteration of my social media experience. I was regularly creating content and I loved it. I loved getting on YouTube and filming and recording episodes that were all about the things that I had learned and the things that I knew to be true. And life took me through a few unexpected paths for sure, and I stopped making content for some very good reasons. But a few months ago, when I decided to come back to making content in earnest, longer form content like the podcast, which by the way is streamable on YouTube if you are a YouTube person or if you would rather watch video, it'll be a little like the old times because it's just me sitting and talking to the camera, but that's sort of familiar if you ever participated in some of my older videos back in the day. So a few months ago when I decided to come back to making content, I was 39 years old, obviously, and I realized that I felt very stuck. More stuck than was normal, more stuck than I could have ever expected. I am a communicator, storyteller. I don't generally have difficulty talking. As far as skills go, I know that I'm able to express myself well. I know that I have good ideas. I know that I have lots of things to say. So this podcast should have been an easy start. But what I found was for the first couple of months of development before I launched, I was very stuck. I did not know what to say, how to say it. I didn't know the format I was going to use. I didn't know the tone that I wanted to have. And eventually I feel like I honed in on the understanding that the last time I had made content, I was 30, and now I was almost 40. And I was absolutely a completely different person now than I was the last time I was doing this. But I don't just mean that I was different. I mean, the me that I am today is damn near unrecognizable. It's not even in the same arena, let alone the ballpark. I not only look different, but I talk different, I act differently, I move through the world differently. Now, some of that can be chalked up to the growth that I've been really working hard to achieve over the last few years of change in my life. I've changed where I live. I've changed who I'm married to. I've changed the things that I want to do with my time and in my life. But more than that, I have changed fundamentally, like to my cells. My DNA feels different every single day when I wake up, especially over these last couple of months when I've really started to focus on taking up more space and unraveling some of that trauma that I have around being seen, being heard, sharing my opinions and thoughts is still so new for me. And I think that's part of why I was so confused about the content, because I know that 10 years ago, I was perfectly willing to get in front of the camera and say all these things that I knew to be true. I was so confident that I was going to be giving meaningful, useful tools to other people because I had this sense of expertise in myself. The last few years of my 30s stripped that confidence away completely. There is very little about the confidence of being 30 that feels like what I know about myself and about the world now. At 40, I know that all of us are just making shit up. At 30, I was sure that I had it all figured out. And at 40, now I know that I don't. I know that I'm still learning every day. I know that I am changing all the time. I know that I'm able to shift my opinions. I know now that I'm able to be different from day to day. And at 30, I feel like I was trying to set things in firm soil. I wanted to make sure that I had stable footing, that my identity was solid. And at 40, I realized that there is so much freedom from knowing that I'm not tied to anything. I can be whoever I want. I can do whatever I want. I can move through life being whoever I want to be. And that means that I'm not standing still. It means that I'm not committed to being only one thing or one version of myself. So when I first sat down in front of the microphone, in front of the camera to start talking again about any of this, I felt like a hypocrite because stating anything as true felt disingenuous. Because what do I know? And the idea that refocused me on the purpose here, the idea that brought me back to the ability to share and express a few things. First, I'm always only ever talking about my own experiences. Just because it worked for me doesn't mean it'll work for you. Just because I've learned something doesn't mean it's a lesson you even need, let alone something you should begin to study. I've also learned that the things that I have been through are things that other people might be experiencing in isolation. One of the tenets of my creative expression in life, in every project that I take on, is I do not like people feeling alone. And I especially don't like people going through difficulties, going through hard times, and thinking they're the only person on the planet that feels that way. I figured out that my content doesn't have to come from a place of expertise because of successes. I can also share experiences about all the things that I got wrong. There were times that I sat in silence or that I went and literally hid in places in my home to avoid conflict or confrontation, to avoid the sensation of disappointing someone. And additionally, I didn't want love to be withheld from me. So I kept myself as quiet as I could be about so many things. And that was a mistake. It was a bad decision. The feedback that I've had from the first few episodes of the show have been really humbling and really exciting. I've had several people reach out to say that this podcast already made them feel some type of way, that it's made them feel connected or hopeful or optimistic or brave. It's made them feel willing to try something new. That feels amazing. It's helped me align with my true purpose in life, which is to share my experiences and stories in a way that helps people know that they are not alone. That is one thing from being 30 to now that has not changed. The content that I made back then was similarly focused. I wanted people to know that it was okay to not be okay. At 40 years old, another thing that's changed is how I see myself in my own skin. And I'm definitely still undoing a lot of the damage around body image and self-talk when it comes to my physical, my outward appearance. But it's like now that I'm 40 years old, I finally really deeply understand and believe that there are things that are so much more important than the shape of my ass. Life being short doesn't have to be this looming thing, this negative thing that drives our actions. It can also be a really wonderful realization that life is short, so every single minute matters so much more than you might think. For me, a really great example of taking up space comes with the actual discussion of birthday celebrations themselves. Maybe you know someone, maybe you have someone in your life who does the whole birthday month thing or the birthday week thing, where they go all in. They're like, it's my birthday, it's my time to shine. You can take me out to lunch, you can buy me a coffee, I'm going to take myself to the spa. I'm going to eat whatever I like and go wherever I want, and I'm going to celebrate my birthday to the maximum for as long as I feel is reasonable. I used to think like that. I used to feel that way until my 21st birthday. I was turning 21 and I wanted to have a huge 21st birthday, and I wanted everyone to come and celebrate and have a great time, and I was doing the thing, right? Prioritizing myself and my interests and what I wanted to do on this special day. But unfortunately, my partner disagreed. And I will never forget being about to turn 21 and having this 36-year-old person telling me that celebrating myself in a party like this was selfish. It was egotistical. It was attention-seeking. It was unattractive. And I remember them being there and not even really having fun. And I think that that was the last time that I had a real big party for myself, because I didn't want to be selfish or self-absorbed. And I didn't want to be perceived as someone who was attention-seeking beyond what was normal or reasonable. And over the years, my birthday became smaller and smaller. And what was worse is it became smaller with a chip on my shoulder. Not only did I not want to celebrate my birthday, but I also wanted to tell other people that the reason I wasn't celebrating my birthday is because I was a good person, because I wasn't selfish and I wasn't so self-absorbed. I definitely projected his judgments upon them because I believed that he must be right, and celebrating your birthday in a way that draws that much attention to yourself must be toxic or completely delusional. And some of the most important people in my life are big birthday people, and were very sad to not be able to celebrate with me over the years. I believed that my being a good person was being measured by my ability to be small, and that in order to be a person worthy of that love, my making myself smaller in regards to my birthday really actually mattered. So now that it's been a few years from my divorce, I can say that these last few years of birthdays have been amazing because I have let go of that expectation. I've let go of that lie that celebrating yourself, celebrating your birthday is somehow a sign of you being an egomaniac. And like even right now, I have a sense in my heart, like, you just said that a lot of people care about you and want to come celebrate with you. Are you sure you don't sound arrogant? But no, that is the mission, my being honest. I am very, very lucky to have a lot of wonderful friends, and I can't wait to go and spend time with them. And the thing that I think is the most surprising to the person who I used to be is they're celebrating joyfully. They're celebrating with open hearts. They're celebrating authentically. They're excited because they love and care about me. Now, definitely, there are some people who are not interested in attention for other reasons. Attention could trigger your anxiety. It could make you feel uncomfortable. There are plenty of valid reasons to not want to celebrate your birthday in a big way. But those reasons are not true for me. I am an outgoing extrovert, and I really think that it's sad that I lost so many birthday parties through the years. So for me, letting friends celebrate with me, take me to lunch, buy me the coffee. Now, I haven't been able to cross the bridge into like birthday month territory. My mom still has the corner on that market, but I have been able to expand a little bit, and I've been able to sort of treat this week as my birthday week. I've been going and getting all the fun freebies at the makeup counters and the free coffee and cookies and stuff that people get during their birthday month. I'm very, very proud of who I am today in a way that I never could have been when I was 30. Today, I have so much more perspective on the things that I have survived, and I better understand what I've been through and how I've been changed by the situations that I've experienced. At 40 years old, in a lot of ways, I feel like I have found myself for the very, very first time. All the things that I wanted for myself at 20, but never could have been strong enough to find. Yes, I have to take accountability for all of the missteps in my life. I believe in personal responsibility, and I believe that I have to take ownership of the mistakes that I've made, the missteps that I've made, the bad decisions I've made, the harm that I've caused. But at 40, I also understand that that means that I get to claim, I get to take credit for all of the wonderful things that I've done. I get to claim, I get to be proud of all the accomplishments that I've made. I get to take ownership of the successes in my life. I get to know that I've worked really hard to achieve some really incredible things. I get to know that I dedicated my life to a career that, yes, sort of ended in an unexpected way. At some point, I will record an episode about my teacher journey and how I came to leave the classroom after 17 years of a really successful, really wonderful career as an educator. I get to be proud of the work that I did serving young people. I get to be proud of the young people that I helped grow. And I get to be excited for the work that I've done in other areas too. I get to be so proud of all the things that I've created, all the music that I've made, and all of the stories that I've created and told. I get to have some credit for the good luck that I've brought into my own life through my own awareness, growth, thoughtfulness. Some of that gets to be because of my effort. I'm also still unpacking my privilege and the way that my white privilege has played into my successes. And I'm still working out how to celebrate myself while also acknowledging the fact that a lot of the things that have come my way at the expense of Black and brown bodies and experiences in lives. So that's something that I'm still working to balance. But even that feels like such an important distinction and something that I'm so excited to figure out. If you'd told me that I would be so excited to be 40, I don't think that I would have believed you. I don't think that I could have expected that the feeling that I have right as I'm turning 40 is complete enthusiasm, but it is. It feels wonderful. I'm so thankful to be alive. I'm so thankful to be in the life that I have now. I'm so thankful to be away from the toxicity of my past. I'm so thankful for all the mistakes that I've made and learned from. And I'm so thankful for the perspective that I've gained recently that I am a good and kind person who has value and who deserves to take up some space. Thank you so much for celebrating my birthday with me this week. Thank you for celebrating growth. Thank you for celebrating change. Thank you for celebrating experience and perspective. If you're listening to this on Spotify, did you know you can send a voice message? How about a little happy birthday from you, huh? Doesn't take you very much time and it makes me feel really good. You can also drop a comment or a rating. All those things really matter at these beginning stages of a podcast. It really helps discoverability. It helps other people know that there's something here worth listening to. As always, Space Not Taken is the project of me, Kelsey Toney, and all of the opinions and comments that I make are my opinions alone. Opening and closing music is a track called The Weekend by Les FM, and I really hope you'll go and find me on Threads, Instagram, and TikTok as Kelsey B. Toney. I can say that I have already gotten more out of this process and this experience than I ever could have expected. And that is because of you. Your attention, your listening, your graciousness has made a huge impact in my life. And I'm so thankful for it. As we settle into the groove of this podcast, just know I'm expecting to release episodes every other week. So I'll see you in 2 weeks with a new one. So until next time, make sure you're out there taking up some space, and I'll talk to you soon.